I was always someone who struggled with getting along with others. I didn't know what their interests were, what topic to talk about, and I was always thinking about what I should say next or what they were thinking about me inside their head. This led to me being absolutely crippled by social anxiety, stuttering,
What do you guys do today?
laughing awkwardly, and even not being able to look at others in the eyes sometimes. Deep down, I always wanted to get along with others, but it was hard since my childhood mainly comprised of me simply enjoying and playing games at home with little to no interactions with other people. But sadly, for an awkward person's first attempt at communicating with others, it never goes well. At age 13, I was thrown from an all-boys primary school to a mixed secondary school, and there was a new species of humans called girls. Well, that aside, things weren't too bad at the start since I was actively trying my best in my introverted way to know my classmate, but then 2 months later, I made a lot of mistakes that got me actually hated. You see, back then, I was blissfully ignorant about what others might think, and the result? The whole class turned on me. Back then, I was kinda shocked to see how the people who were initially nice to me just flipped sides so quickly. But at the same time, it was understandable since it was clear it was my fault. It was crushing. Especially when the girl I liked at the time turned cold. Like, that traumatized me so bad I took an MC for 3 days to not come school. And when I came back, I still got ostracized regardless. This carried on for the entirety of secondary school since my rep was already ruined and caused my fear of failure to skyrocket. So during the break after O-levels, I was like, this can't continue, and I would finally get a fresh start in my poly years. So, what did I do? On my first day of poly, I braved up the courage to greet everyone in my class one by one, asking about their names, what their hobbies were, and what they were doing before they came here. Back then, having not recovered from my secondary school arc, they could probably see my legs shaking, but even so, I'm glad that I tried, because this time, I really got along with everyone in class. Partially, it came from reflecting on past experiences as to why I failed to make friends before in secondary school. I became more considerate of others and more mindful on how I should act, and as awkward as the initial few talks went, it became a lot easier conversing after getting to know them better, and I was starting to regain confidence again. They would invite me to eat in the canteen with them daily during our breaks and invite me to go and hang out. Sadly, I was still the type to hold up at home, so I didn't really join them for the post-school activities. My apologies there. But really, I truly want to thank them for just accompanying me and not making my poly life a lonely one. It really saved me so much. And fast forward 3 years, I can safely say I am now at the level where I can talk comfortably with people I meet for the first time. This came from talking to so many people and different groups that I would never have talked to if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone. It's not that the social anxiety just upped and vanished, but rather that I can now keep it under control since it's now at a more manageable level compared to before. So, what would my advice be for people who are also struggling with insecurities in general? The first would be to come to terms with your flaws and try to improve what you can. A lot of social anxiety stems from a lack of confidence and self-worth, so try to value yourself more. In the past, having an inferiority complex, no matter how much I exercise, change the clothes I wear, or improve my conversational skills, I was always insecure about myself. I could never acknowledge the efforts that I made, and man, they did make me miserable. The second probably would be to realize that there is no reason to fear the judgment of others. Most of the time, they aren't thinking about you anyways, so it really is needless anxiety to say the least. Back then, I was always thinking that others might judge me, so I tiptoed around others and could never really feel comfortable around others. All this internal panic in selecting carefully what to say just makes both you and the other party more distant, because you are not really opening your heart or being genuine. It is much better to gather confidence and act than to hesitate and regret it later. So, and on the off chance they dislike you, does it matter? Just cut them off, it's fine. You don't really need them because they're not really your true friends. The third backing the second advice is to understand that if you don't know what the future has for you, why worry in the first place? Just focus on what you can do in the moment. Sometimes we really worry about the smallest and most insignificant things for who knows why. But then come a year or a month later, you're like, wait, why did I worry so much about this in the first place? And next, the fourth is something I think everyone needs to hear. Stop blaming yourself for every little mistake you make. Self-hate and pity is the worst thing you can do. The time spent moping around is a true waste of what you could actually be doing, and a huge disservice to your own self. I say this so strongly because this was literally me. I understand that it can be painful and suffocating sometimes and you feel like you need to blame someone, but instead focus your attention ahead. I think people don't realize how much is actually waiting for them ahead in life. So please stand strong. If you make a mistake and fall, stand back up and continue walking forward. The fifth is to try talking to more people, whether it be friends, family, or acquaintances like classmates, group mates, or colleagues. Just try not to hold up too much at home. Yes, I'm actually telling you to touch grass. Here we go. But jokes aside, I feel a lot of social anxiety stems from a lack of experience interacting with others in the first place. Like most of us dealing with such issues probably live a pretty solitary life to begin with. So, the solution? Go outside and meet people even if you are afraid to do so. Even if you stutter or feel a little awkward. That single step comes a very long way, in my opinion. Alright, lastly, my last tip is to do things that can improve your confidence and remove your insecurities in the first place. Things like dressing up nicer, exercising, or maybe putting on a bit of makeup can really bring you a long way. Like most of the time, people don't actually realize that they can look so much better by just simply wearing good clothes and maybe styling up your hair like this. Okay, watch this. If I were to be in my home clothes, so this is how I look versus if I was in my hangout clothes. Sorry for the cringe, but you get my point. As for exercise, yeah, chances are you are not ugly. You just need to lose some weight to have a sharp jawline and a more contoured figure. See, in my case, I went from looking like this to actually looking like this. Yeah, I know, huge difference, yeah. So yeah, this has been my experience with social anxiety and insecurities, and I hope my advice has been meaningful for those of you who actually need it. Regarding my secondary school life, I apologize if I was really cringe and insufferable in the past, and I don't hold any grudges against anyone now. I did like to think we are currently on okay terms. Are we? But all in all, I did like to thank anyone who managed to watch this far into the video. And this is the start of my self-improvement journey, so stay tuned. The next few videos I post will probably take a much lighter tone, so look forward to that. Alright, this has been Slotin. Peace. Alright.